So, you've got this epic story brewing in your head. It's a world brimming with magic, choked with mystery, and practically begging for adventure. But when you actually sit down to build it, you're just staring at a blank page? Sounds familiar? The sheer scale of creating a D&D world can be completely paralyzing. But what if I told you the secret to building a world your players will actually love isn't to write a 10-pound history book, but to just draw a simple map? Today I'm going to show you how to go from a blank page to a living, breathing world with compelling cultures and adventure hooks, all starting with a few simple lines on a piece of paper. This is what I call the map first method. We're going to start small, focusing only on what you need for the first few sessions and build outwards from there. First things first, forget about creating a whole planet. Seriously, you don't need to know the name of the king in a country your players won't even hear about for another year. All you need is a starting town and the land immediately around it. Grab a piece of paper and draw a dot somewhere in the middle. That's your starting town. Let's call it Wakefield. Now, maybe draw a simple river snaking by, a forest to the north and some hills to the east. You don't have to be a professional artist. Simple symbols are honestly better. A few triangles for mountains, some wavy lines for hills, and a couple of little circles for a swamp is all it takes to get started. The goal here is to keep it simple and leave tons of blank space. This little patch of land is your playground for the first few adventures. Okay, we have a map, now let's make it brief. The geography you just drawn is the secret ingredient for your culture. Think about it. Real-world cultures are shaped by their environment, and yours should be too. Look at Wakefield, sitting there by the river. The river isn't just water, it's a trade route. So the people at Wakefield are probably merchants and traders. Maybe they're a bit more welcoming to outsiders, and their biggest town festival celebrates the first thaw of the river each year. But what about the folks living up in those eastern hills? They're probably more isolated. They might be miners or shepherds who are deeply suspicious of the fast-talking traders down in the valley. See? The geography itself starts telling a story and shaping the people who live there. An interesting place needs an interesting problem. Conflict is the engine of any D&D campaign, and your map is the perfect tool to create one. That river that makes Wakefield a bustling trade hub, it's also a border, and on the other side there's a rival town that believes that they have the sole fishing rights for those waters. Suddenly you've got tensions. You've got smugglers, river pirates, and political drama all springing from a single wavy line you drew. Or maybe those hills to the east aren't just hills. What if they're ancient burial mounds, and the reclusive hill folk who guard them are furious that the miners from Wakefield are digging too close? Right there, you have a conflict that can fuel dozens of quests, from spooky tomb delving adventures to tense diplomatic missions. These threats are what drives the story forward and gives your players a real reason to get involved. Your world needs people, but please, don't try to create an entire census. Start with just a handful of important non-player characters, or NPCs, and tie them directly to the conflict you just made. For a river dispute, you'll need the Wakefield Guildmaster, who's desperate to hire the party to protect her barges. Give her a memorable little quirk. Maybe she's constantly polishing a lucky coin. Then, you'll need the hot-headed leader of the rival fishing village, a man who's convinced Wakefield is stealing his town's future. These NPCs are your mouthpieces for the world. They provide quests, drop information, and give the players personal connection to the world's problems. A few memorable NPCs are always more effective than 100 forgettable names. Now, for the most important step of all, a world built in a vacuum is just a novel. A world built for D&D has to be about the players, and the best way to do that is to weave their backstories directly into the world you've just started building. During your session 0, ask your players where their characters are from. Maybe the party's rogue grew up in that rival fishing village and has a personal score to settle. Perhaps the cleric's fate is tied to the ancient spirits sleeping in those eastern hills. By connecting your players' histories to the world's conflict, you create powerful personal stakes. Their characters are no longer just visitors. They are part of this world, and their choices will shape its future. So, that's the map first method. Start with a simple map of a small area. Use its geography to inspire some unique cultures. Create a central conflict based on that geography. Add a few key NPCs who are tied to the conflict, and finally work with your players to weave their backstories right in the fabric of it all. You don't need to build a whole world overnight. You just need to build one interesting corner of it. The rest will grow organically as you and your players will explore it together. Now go out there and start drawing. I love to hear what world building tricks you use, so let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips on how to master the art of D&D.